Hello, everyone. Welcome to Game Week, round two. It's been a hot minute. It seriously has. And I'm very excited to be just talking about what could or could not happen on any given week of the footy. We're obviously here with Caden McDonald here, who's going to give us the Melbourne side of the story. Mate, welcome.
Terry, round two in June. Can you believe it? It's it's ridiculous, but mate, I'm pumped. I could not be any more excited. And it's game week. Unbelievable scenes.
It's crazy. We were just talking about just before we started about obviously it's Queen's birthday. You'd be used to playing a game today. You'd probably have a fair idea as to where the season's going for now. We've had what's it been? Is it 9 weeks or is this week 10? I think this is the start of week 10. I could be wrong.
Jesus.
It's interesting, obviously, because we work in this YouTube world, and I was okay with the first couple of weeks. I was obviously very sad that we lost our game. But then AFL Evolution came along. That gave us a couple of weeks of entertainment. I feel for me personally, and I want to hear your take on it, but I feel like it's sort of dwindled down a bit for me with Evolution now that the real stuff's coming back. But run me through how you've adjusted. What's the break been like on all fronts, personal, YouTube, everything?
Yeah. Well, going into, I had a bit of a break. I felt like I put in a lot of work last year to sort of turn this from a part-time thing into, I tried to structure it like a full-time sort of effort. And I felt I felt really good off the back of, working a lot with the YouTube last year, and had a little bit of a break because over summer it can die off. And I just need to, have a little bit of a breather and then sort of restart. And I love that feeling coming back in January, Feb and feeling fresh. So I did that and had a bit of momentum coming into the season, and then it all stopped. And I was sort of, I didn't know where to go or what to do. And a part of me was like, that's all right, AFL Evolution's coming. Instead of getting 4 or 5 videos out a week, if I can get 7 or 8, it'll have like the same total week numbers as, getting 3 or 4. So I started to overwork myself for 2 or 3 weeks and burnt myself out. I was like, there's no point doing this. Overworking yourself, very little reward. It just, burnt myself out in like the 3rd month of the year. So I had to reset the goalposts and just, I was sort of not accepting it for what it was. Like, instead of having a look at everything and going, oh, look, it's not going to be the season I thought it was. All the goals, you need to, recalibrate and taking it for what it is. That probably would have been smarter. But I was like, we can fight through it. But in the end, I just took the pressure off myself, and I've reset my goals. Potentially not going to double the subscribers from last year, but let's see where we can get to, sort of thing. So just reset my goals and I've restarted again, and feeling a little bit better. Just putting out content when I can. Working on music, which is a bit of a long-term thing, and music in terms of like silly little footy songs. We're not bringing out a Justin Bieber album just yet.
Not yet.
So
no H&M collabs yet with a 5 a.m. lineup out the door.
Yeah, not quite, but we'll get there soon. But so just, I don't know, I'm enjoying the spot that I'm in at the moment. But that took a couple of months to let it all absorb and get here. So
I feel you. And as for the actual footy being back, I want to touch on your end. What's the Melbourne story? Like, I can give you the Carlton story. I talk about it a lot, obviously, but I want to know, like, going into round 2, maybe even going into this 4-week block. What is, from a Melbourne supporter who watches them as closely as you do? What is the story?
Well, there was a big talk about injuries last year, and I think for people to sort of go, that's not an excuse, I think it is. Like, I think it was. And then going into this preseason, we're talking one of the best preseasons we've ever had. We're talking an easy fixture, an easy draw. And, I was sort of looking at the injury list, and we had like 3 or 4, I think, like your Nathan Joneses, your Vandenbergs, had substantial injury time, your 6 to 8 weeks, Harley Bennell as well. And then I sort of switched off from the Melbourne news, and then all of a sudden we're going into round 2, and I think we've got a clean slate. So it's really bizarre. So I think, the story is Harley Bennell? Are we bringing him in? That would be ridiculous. I think we got a pretty full list. And yeah, but it just who's going to adapt to this interrupted preseason, I guess.
Yeah.
Who's going to adapt first? I don't think anyone really knows what we're going to get served up. They've only trained for 3 or 4 weeks. So is it going to be sloppy footy, or is it going to be, fresh blokes having a run? Because I assume, they're AFL players. They don't forget how to kick and handball. So I think the standard will still be quite high, but there's a lot of questions going into it for sure.
Yeah. When we first got the fixture, and I'm like, all right, Melbourne, Geelong, Essendon, St Kilda. My first reaction to Melbourne was, because I'm of the firm belief that we're going to see 2018 or closer to 2018 Melbourne than what we are 2019 Melbourne. I have sort of two sides to it. On the one hand, I really do believe in what you guys are doing and who you've got there, and that, for me, I can see the talent is clearly there. And almost similar to us, it's I've also, because 2019 is so fresh, and I watched a little bit of the To Hell and Back documentary that the club put up. Yeah. And I'd be really keen to get your take on this. And I could be thinking the way I'm thinking because I'm, not a Melbourne supporter, but I was listening to Ole Goodwin, talked about what had happened. I heard a lot last year after games, it's just been a really tough year. And I heard a lot of, not excuses, but I heard a lot of, it's been tough. And that sort of, I don't know, if I'm a supporter and I hear that from our side, I don't like it. Do you feel that at all, or do you just sort of think, no, we actually did have genuine reasons for what happened?
It's a tough one because the messaging is so important, I guess. Yeah. And the thing I like about Goody is he seems like, that army sergeant type bloke, and he does carry himself like, I remember when Tom Bugg hit Callum Mills, and the press conference after that, he's like, that's not what we stand for, blah, 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 blah. I remember we were winning AFL games, and the way he conducted himself was like, the Melbourne Footy Club want to win games of chess, let alone... he just conducts himself really well. So, yeah, it is sort of disappointing to hear excuses, but they're the excuses that I sort of see. So maybe he's just being genuine, but... I don't know. I hope we can get off to a good start, and I just don't want, because I felt like last year we struggled to get momentum. Not an inexperienced side, but not a very experienced side, sort of in that middle period, and it just felt like any block of games that we had, we couldn't get going, and we weren't getting beaten by 100 points. It was like we're up with 10 minutes to go and we lose by 3 goals, and that was consistently happening. There was a lot of flip of the coin games if you looked at the score with 15 minutes to go. So it wasn't as bad of a year, but it was just we just couldn't get going. But yeah, the Hell and Back thing as well. People really focused on that title. It was really good insight from the club, I thought. Yeah. I thought it was an amazing doco series. I think To Hell and Back makes it seem like they're sort of flexing, we're back. But the doco wasn't really about that. It was about, and I remember listening to Gary Pert, he was like, we want to be back in terms of sustained success, and we want to be back in terms of the Ds and the 40s and the 50s. Back isn't we make the 8 this year. Back is the demon, the brand, we're back. So I think that's pretty
Melbourne
cool.
Footy Club.
Oh man, when I look on my stubby holder, that's premiership 8, 5 or 6 in the 40s, 5 or 6 in the 50s. It's unbelievable. But yeah, I don't mind the way Goody goes about it, because I think he does more good than bad. But yeah, it was a tough one to answer. That sort of.
No, I feel you. For me, for this week, there's 2 things that I'm sort of mindful of from our end. Before Corona, we turned the ball over in a way that's just shocking. When we turn it over, it's just bad. And teams who score heavily off turnover usually do really well against us. Richmond, round 1, Exhibit A, I think they kicked 6 or 7 goals in the first half directly from turnover. When I look at Melbourne, and the other thing is we have lapses in concentration where we let momentum from the other end come to us before we actually turn on.
How does that happen? Like, is because Melbourne do that a little bit as well when it's a habit where 5, 6, 7 goals can sort of get kicked in a row, and I don't know how that happens.
Again, never been on the field as an AFL player, but
I've only been there a couple of times, but
I've been running around the Northern Footy League as a Divi 2 ruckman, but never on the big stage. But I don't know. We have, from our end anyway, we don't have too many people on the field on a game day who don't need the coach's instruction and when sort of you need to impose yourself and lift a bit more. We don't have too many that can do it straight away. Cripps usually is the instigator of it. Doherty and the footy world will, if they have forgotten, they'll be reminded real quickly how important he is to us. He's got that ability to just get things right and communicate on the field. Not sure what type of output he's going to get. I'm not really too worried about that just yet. But to have Doc there in the back line, and I know, he's going to be able to sort shit out when shit does hit the fan. Cripps can do it. We need another 1 or 2 in the middle from our end to do it. But it's the thing that's killing us. We literally can undo ourselves in a full game in 15 minutes. It's as simple as that. And then after game, oftentimes, I'm sitting here hearing coaches say, if we played a good 2.5 quarters, or that second and third quarter was really good, and so that's why I feel like it's. Melbourne should be favourites, deserved favourites, but I still feel like we're a sniff.
Any game where we versus Carlton, I think you're a sniff. Like, there's just teams like St Kilda, North, Geelong, and even Carlton. I just go in going, it's for some reason it's not a certainty. Like, you guys could be rock bottom. Like, I remember in the last few years, you guys were we were sort of pushing for the 8 and thereabouts. Not last year, but like a couple of years before it. And you guys would just take it up to us 2 times a year sort of thing. I remember maybe 2017 we were pushing for finals, or 2016. Needed to win our last couple of games. We got knocked off. Last year we had a pretty awful year. But even that game, it took Caden Hunt to kick, a bomb from 50 to get us over the line. So any sort of Carlton matchup that we have, I'm not confident. And I feel the same. Like going into this one, I don't know why. I've got a lot of distrust, and I never tipped us in tipping. And as a Melbourne supporter, there'd be so many out there watching going, like, I know what you're talking about. When we made a prelim, we're going into the next year going, in my head, we're not a certainty to make the 8. I was sort of hoping we would, but nothing's a certainty as a D's fan. So this is another matchup that I'm not filled with confidence with. But, with that turnover thing, like, we've just got an inability to finish, and consistently we'll win the inside 50s. And I remember I was listening, maybe Alan Richardson recently or something, was sort of saying, like, it was Josh Marnie on the D's potty, was saying, look, I know the inside 50 kicking is a big talking point for the supporters, but just to win the inside 50s and be winning territory is a massive thing. And I'm like, but I think we beat Geelong in the inside 50s when we lost by 80 points last year. Like, it's a good stat to get ticked off, and so is the hard ball, and it is a KPI, I guess, but it's not helping. Like, we're having 10, 15 more inside 50s, and we're getting comfortably beaten. So that's something that I would love us to really tighten up in. And maybe it is like, it is a good foundation to have. Getting it in there is a good start. Work on it from there. It's not like we can't get in there at all, but it's something that needs to be cleaned up if we're going to be a good side.
Yeah, 100%. I was going to ask you, how are you guys going to go this year with your gut feeling? But obviously, as you just said, you've got a bit of distrust. I can understand that. You make a prelim, and then the year after, it's kind of like, okay, what happened?
It's years of distrust. Like, I remember 2017 should have made the finals, lost to Collingwood, who I think weren't even in the finals, and then I think Adelaide lost to West Coast, and we missed out by 0.5%. Never happened before. There's distrust everywhere. We'll be favourites going into a game, and we'll choke and lose it. So it's years of distrust.
Yeah. What's from the outside? Outside my Carlton bubble, what do you look at when you think of Carlton and where we're at? What's the outside perception from your end?
Really exciting.
And you can be absolutely blunt with me.
No, I've got a few Carlton supporter mates, and they've just been in the same position as me. So I have a lot of empathy, sympathy, and I can sort of, I've been in that situation before. I'm saying that after finishing second last. I'm not out of it yet. Not out of the woods yet, but really exciting. Like, I froth young players coming up. Zach Fisher, your Dows. Like, I love a young crop and a young core. And you've got such an exciting young list. But I'm still not convinced it'll do anything yet. But I think it could. Like, I think it's it looks like a team that could become something, but I'm not exactly convinced either. Like, I sort of, at the moment, wouldn't be surprised if you made the top 8, but if I had to tip for some reason, I think like a 12th could be the position you finish. But it's not quite an Essendon distrust where, like, when people talk about Essendon, I go, I do not see them doing anything because of the age, and I've seen nothing from them. The Blues I'm excited by, and I think they will do something. I'm just not sure whether that 8 to 11 game winning season will be this year. But exciting, so exciting. The forward line's exciting, back line's exciting. I reckon they're a cool team.
I like it. I like to hear that. It's the sentiments are the same. In that we've had this whole another rebuild now. And it feels like yesterday that Carlton and Melbourne were in that same position. I know we had that famous 2007 game where we played the Cruiser Cup. But I feel like even 2011, 12, 13, we were both still an up-and-coming young, we had those core young midfielders coming through. I think when you guys had Viney and you drafted Clayton Oliver, I even felt it then like, us and Melbourne are not worlds apart. That all got debunked when you guys made the prelim, because you've obviously done a lot more, and I spoke about that in my preview as well. So I do have the fear on my end. I have the fear of what Melbourne could do, but I'm very confident that we won't see, and I could be wrong, but I'm pretty confident that we won't see the D's up by 40 points like Richmond were. I feel like we're going to be able to do what we did last time we played last year, where you guys sort of got up, and again, lapse in concentration. We stormed home late. You probably should have won the game by more had you had the kicking boots on. But I feel like it's going to be a good contest. And as much as I don't want to have another honourable loss, if we take it up to you guys, play good footy, have a scoreline of, I don't know, 103 to 111 or something like that. That's probably a bit ambitious given how short the game's going to be. I'll cop it.
Yeah. I just can't, the Demon Faithful are looking for a response from last year.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of just no hope type of comments after the West Coast loss. We went over to West Coast, one of the best looking lists that I can see, away from home. I know there was no crowd, and played horrible and lost by 27 points. So, a lot of people are throwing the baby out of the bathwater with that game, and it's like, oh, typical, here we go again, another year like this. But I just want us to win so that doesn't build. Like, I just can't have an 0-2, 0-3 season a start, because I hate the memes, I hate the pressure, I hate going, Goodwin is a good coach, and everyone going, you're crazy. I hate going, Petrarca will come good, and everyone calls me crazy. Like, I hate it so much. It's the worst. And I've been doing that for 15 years. So all I need is a little dynasty to get me away from the bottom 3 for a little bit. I just need a 5 or 6 year period where I start taking wins for granted. And that'll do the world of good for my my footy mental health. But geez, if we lose, oh man, it'll be a tough pill to swallow.
Who have you got the week after?
Maybe like a Hawthorn, or maybe like a Geelong. I think in the first few games it's like Geelong, Essendon, Yeah, something like that. But
okay, I think you guys have the Bombers because we've got Geelong next week and then the Bombers. I think it's something like that. So we're in the same boat because I mean, I look at round 3. We play Geelong in Geelong. Yeah, I know there's no crowd, but I don't look at that as a look. They're all winnable games, but you know, I wouldn't be. I'd be pretty surprised if we were able to beat Geelong over there. So, so that's from my point. I will give you one more question before I let you go.
Yep.
Let's get a score prediction and give me Melbourne's highest goal kicker for the day this week. This week.
It's coming. It's on our doorstep. I'm going to tip the D's by 27 points.
Yep.
Not confident, and I'm only saying 27 to try and help myself get through the week. But and the most goals for the D's. I don't want to put pressure on Sam Wiedemann. It'd be nice for him to get. I'm going to say Bailey Fritsch.
All right.
Bailey Fritsch. He's good for 4 or 5.
He loves us. I'll tell you right now.
Yeah.
He loves
hard
playing
match
us.
Up. Maybe a Plowman on him. I don't know. But yeah, Fritter for 4 or 5. D's to get home, but good contest.
Yeah. I'm going to go for a Carlton 9-point win. Pitternet just holds the fort against Seagull. Just holds the fort. Even Jags are cheeky goal against
Mark.
him.
We need you here, Mark.
We need him big time. And I'm going to go Harry Mackay to come back and kick 4 goals too. Yeah. So we'll get young Harry back.
And that's doable. That's doable for him.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Mate, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it.
No worries.
Best of luck. I'm sure we'll cross paths at some point as well.
Yep.
And I usually end a video saying go the Mighty Blues, but I'll give you this. Go the D's.
Oh, mate, go the Blues. Go the bloody Blues.
See you, mate.
Yeah, appreciate that. Cheers.